Let me go to the intranet to take the attendance. For the time being, you can open your chapter 3, get ready to fill up the blank spaces. And while I'm preparing my to ready my presentation, any question before we start?
No.
No question, huh? Okay. I'm in the intranet now.
What chapter already?
Chapter 3.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, 11:30 to 1:30. Okay, all present. Okay, I'm done with the attendance. Okay, so let me remove this. Okay, save. Okay, I'm going to present the screen. I'm presenting my second screen, so I hope you all can see the course plan. So for this week, week 3, last week already covered the first phase of STLC, which is system planning. For week 3, we're going to cover system analysis. System analysis, it means more detailed investigation. Last week during the system planning, we only look at the preliminary investigation. We are not going to do any detailed investigation because here we want to find out whether is it feasible to continue with this system project or not. If it's not feasible, means we're not going to the next phase. Okay, that's why we call it as the feasibility study, also known as the preliminary investigation, whereby the output from the system planning is PIR, the preliminary investigation report. So if the decision is to proceed, meaning it's feasible from economic point of view, technical point of view, operational point of view, then the next step would be the second phase, which is the system analysis. As you can see, for system analysis, we have quite a few chapters. It's quite a lengthy chapters, which is break up into few weeks. So for this week, we only will focus on fact gathering. Next week, still in the system analysis, but this time fact recording. And then we are done with the system analysis, like 2 weeks for system analysis. Okay, and in week 5, then we will start with the system design already. Okay, so that's about our course plan. And while I'm still sharing something, okay, let me show you the assignment, case study assignment question. Okay, just to let you all know, basically we have covered the first 4 case study, okay, in our lecture. And for today's lecture, which is chapter 3, it will be covered in week 5 case study. Okay, week 5 case study where it's all about fact gathering. Week 6 is to cover the fact recording, where we will start with the diagramming already. Now, for week 5, you need to use 2 techniques to do fact gathering, which is the first of all the interview question, and the second one is the questionnaires. Here I'm using your case study organization, the bus company, okay, and depending on I will see what's your system request letter. I believe that's for week 3 presentation, yeah. I mean the week 3 case study, where I will look at the sources of request and service requested. Then it should be shown in what type of questions you want to ask your users, because you can imagine that your users, the bus company, they want you, okay. If I'm not mistaken, you are assuming that you are at the IT department in that particular bus company. So you need to come up with a good series of questions, interview questions, to find out what do they really want in the bus ticketing system. Okay, so you must come up with the objective and then design 5 to 7 interview questions should be appropriate for your case study. And besides interview for questionnaire, you also need to produce one set of questionnaire consisting of minimum 8 questions, where 6 of the questions should be open-ended and 2 of the questions should be closed-ended. Okay, so again, must be according to the objective. So what you're going to present in the future presentation, yeah, is always based on the previous week. So meaning starting from this week you're going to present your first case study, right? First case study presentation. Starting from here, your storyline should be tally lah. Okay, even if it's a fictitious bus company, but everything should make sense. Okay, so just to emphasize, what we will cover today is meant for week 5 case study. Okay, so that's about the assignment. And then let me see what else. I think I can start presenting already. Okay, let me present. I believe you can see my slide already, right? I'll start the recording now. Okay, as mentioned, this is the second phase of the SDLC. You can see here, before this phase, we have the system planning, okay, whereby sometimes people refer it to the preliminary investigation. In fact, this is a system planning where we conducted the feasibility study. The output will be the PIR, the preliminary investigation report, and based on the conclusion in this report, then if it's feasible to move to the next phase, then we will reach to this phase. And when you look at the output for this second phase, the output is SRD, which is the System Requirements Document, SRD, which will be used, okay, the list of requirements that you have gathered during the system analysis phase will be used to design the new system, the proposed new system. So meaning you won't be able to come up with the design of the system if you don't have the list of requirements. So at the end of this chapter, we will look at 2 types of requirements. One is the functional requirements and another one is the non-functional requirements. Without these requirements, we will not be able to come up with a series of designs which need to be compiled in this document, system design specification. So how are we going to find out the requirements? Okay, this users requirements. This is where we need to conduct fact gathering, and the first half of our chapter 3 will concentrate on what are the techniques as a system analyst we can use to gather all the facts about the current system, not only the current system, to understand the current system, but also to find out about what the end users want to be included in the new system. Okay, so we will concentrate on the fact gathering first, and then next week, continuation for system analysis. We will learn how to, like, we have gathered all the facts. How can we properly document, prepare the documentation of the facts that we have gathered? Then we will learn a series of fact recording. Okay, so today we'll just concentrate on fact gathering. Okay, so another name for system analysis is requirements analysis. Okay, requirements and analysis, because of if you look at this previous diagram, you can obviously see that the output from this phase is a system requirements document. That's why sometimes we call it as the requirements analysis, where as a system analyst, will focus on finding out what are the required functionality of the new systems, which we will cover later at the end of the chapter. The functional requirements as well as non-functional requirements. And the output already mentioned, the requirement specification, also known as the requirements document. Okay, either it's SRD or SRS. Okay, system requirements document or system requirements specification, as long as the word requirements is there. Okay, the fact gathering techniques that we will cover includes interviewing, document analysis or document inspection, questionnaires, and many more. Okay, there are quite a number of fact gathering techniques that we'll cover in this chapter. And in chapter 4, the second part of system analysis, we will cover this. The fact recording techniques means the documented facts. We need to come up with a diagram for it. So we will model using the data flow diagram and entity relationship diagram. This is where what you have done for the database development last semester will be put into use. Okay. Now, when we talk about fact gathering, you as the system analyst will gather all the facts from whom? From the end users. Okay, the primary end users will be the person who himself interact with the system, say the data entry clerk, okay, or the cashier for the point of sale system, and then perhaps might be the secondary end user, for example, the managers who will not do the data entry but will use the output or the reports generated by the system. Okay, so we need to gather facts from the users. And for a person to be able to do this fact gathering, you need to have the skill. Okay, you need to have the, I would say, interpersonal skill to talk with the end user, as well as to have a good knowledge of the business side. I believe from your database course last semester, you have more or less gone through how to come up with the business rules, right? I think it will be quite difficult for you, for students, because students, they don't have this background. They are not in the workforce yet. You don't have working experience. But then for SA normally will be hired if he has like a minimum of 3 years working experience. Otherwise, for a fresh graduate, a potential employee, then instead of system analyst, he will be hired as an analyst programmer instead. Means not a full-blown system analyst. We need experience to know the business side, the business area. Otherwise, it will be difficult for this SA to really comprehend what's going on. Like, for example, in the bus ticketing system, how do this bus company sell the tickets? So you need to be very clear about it, step by step, because the step will be turned into individual process which in turn you will design a user interface screen for it, and then afterwards design a report that can be generated from it, and you will pass the system design specification to the programmer. So meaning system analyst will be the person who will do the analysis and design of the system and pass all the system design specification to the programmers to do the coding. Okay, so if the design done by the system analyst is wrong, then the programmers will end up coding the wrong thing. Okay, so that's why here it is clearly stated the system analyst must have the knowledge and experience in the business area. So during this fact gathering, because for your case study, for week 5 case study, you need to come up with interview questions. You need to come up with a set of questionnaire. How do you know, what do you need to gather? You need to find out the business rules, like do they have any rules in selling that bus ticket? Like if the scheduled time for that particular bus route is for tomorrow morning, do you still accept bus booking the night before? Okay, so there must be some kind of rule. All these things you need to look at. Okay, what are the business rules, the processes, the locations, activities of users? This one is very important. If you understand what they do, their tasks, then it will be easier for you to put yourself in their shoe and try to figure out what can I do to automate certain things and then make their work more productivity. Okay, and you also need to find out whether the system interfaces with other system, meaning is a system need to be anything from the system need to be used by other departments or not. Perhaps the list of ticket sales need to go to the finance department or the sales department. You need to find out all this. Okay, now let's move on to the techniques of fact gathering. The first technique would be interview. Now, when we see the technique interview, it is as you can see in this picture, it's a face-to-face plan meeting. Why do I say it's a face-to-face plan meeting? Because it's a formal meeting with agenda, with objective. Okay, means before you conduct the interview, you need to make appointment. Okay, appointment for the interview. Okay, what date, what time? Okay, come up with the list of questions that you want to ask the user. When you suggest the date, time, location, you should not interfere with their say work. Okay, and then at the end of the interview, you must quickly summarize everything, because you need to get the users, the interviewee confirmation that what you have gathered from the interviews are all correct. Okay, so you can see here, must give documented feedback. You need to get confirmation. Sometimes when we talk, the other party, they mean to say something else, but we understood it differently. So that's why after every interview, SA must provide this documented feedback. Okay. Now, what's the advantages of interviews? You can see that in this slide and the next slide, that lists out the advantages and disadvantages. For the next technique, we will also see all these advantages, disadvantages. Here, I want you to remember this. The questions for your assessment, it will no longer be explain the advantages of interview, disadvantages of questionnaire, because your assessment this time is an open book. Student can easily copy all this from the notes. So here I want you all to really to be able to differentiate between these different techniques. What is the pros for certain technique and what is the cons for certain techniques? Which technique is suitable for which scenario, which circumstances? Okay, like for example, interviews. Normally people use interviews. We can because you want to overcome the resistance. You have a face-to-face meeting. It's a very good opportunity to meet up with your end user. So something like you get cooperation from the people involved. When you involve people, they will have this sense of belonging. Okay, oh, I'm contributing to this ticketing system. I cannot wait for it to be completed and start using it. Okay, so this is one of the main advantage of interview. And since it's also face-to-face, system analysts can observe the body language. Okay, sometimes people, since it's face-to-face, then they won't like say everything the truth, 100% the truth. Might be there's some, for somehow what reason, they might not be saying everything, or they might be hiding something. So from the body language, system analysts can see whether the interviewee is comfortable while explaining, okay, to find out whether what he's saying is exactly how his body portray, okay, show. Because the tone of the responses and also the body language can give us a very great deal of information. Okay, if you have some time, then I would suggest you to read any articles about the science of body language. It's very good, especially when as a system analyst, you need to work with many people. Okay, you must have this interpersonal skills as well as the body language observation skill. And you can see that three more advantages listed here. Clarify facts. Clarify again. If you notice, the interview is a face-to-face meeting. That's why you can overcome the resistance. You can observe the body language. You can clarify the facts. You can even build rapport with your end user. You not only you overcome resistance, you build rapport. Okay, when you have good rapport with the user, then it's easier for you to get more information afterwards. And people who are unwilling to put comments into words, okay, comments into hard copy, like filling up questionnaire, they might be willing to talk more freely face to face. So like clarifying of facts, here the interviewer, means the system analyst, will be able to verify or clarify if there is any confusing question, or if he can also confirm the feedback he get from the interviewee and so on. So if you need to give your own explanation about advantages of interviews, you just remember this. Interview is a fact-gathering technique that is involving face-to-face plan meeting. Okay. Now, on the other hand, when you conduct a face-to-face meeting, it is really, I would say, costly and time-consuming, because there are a lot of things that you need to plan for to have this interview. In fact, if you look at your tutorial question, there's one question that asks you to list out what should you include in your interview plans. What should you include in your interview plans? Because to prepare for interview, you need time. To conduct the interview, you need time. And then after the interview has been completed, need to get the confirmation from the interviewee as well. And then imagine if your bus company is quite big, you have branches all over Sabah. Then as a does the SA need to go over to this different district to conduct the interview? Or perhaps in this pandemic time, then can easily do what you call that teleconferencing, right? Okay, costly and time consuming. And earlier, I also talked about SA need to be able to have skills. Okay, skills. For every technique, SA need to be ready with skills. For interview, what kind of skill? Here is interviewing skill. Some people, they might not be able to interview people because it's kind of awkward for them. So people who has this interviewing skill should go for this interview session. Otherwise, need to, I think, SA. That's why for SA, they hire someone with experience, years of experience. Okay. And then require personal context. Why? Because he needs to know who he can interview. That's the reason why you need to come up with the organization chart for the company. So that SA, okay, he can look at the first level. Can I interview this person? Is he using this particular system? And then look at the various functional areas in the organization chart. So the use of the bus ticketing system is from this department. So perhaps I can interview only those who are working in that particular department. In order for you to find out all this, you need to have context. Okay, the department representative, the manager, perhaps. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages of interviews. Okay, next would be the questionnaire. Questionnaire. Normally students have difficult time to spell this one out during the face-to-face final exam. It's question, okay, and then you append with NAIRES, NAIRES, questionnaires. So what is a questionnaire? A questionnaire is just a simple, I would not say it's simple because it's difficult to design a good questionnaire, which is your task for case study week 5. A questionnaire is a set of questions. Okay, a piece of paper, a set of questions that you distribute to your end users and get their feedback. Now, here you will see that when you distribute the questionnaire, here we call the person who received the questionnaire as respondents. Okay, in interview we call them as our interviewee. So you are the interviewer, the SA. For questionnaire, the person who get the questionnaire, we call them as respondent. So we expect them to fill up the questionnaire, to answer the questionnaire during their leisure time. Meaning we don't expect them to fill those questionnaire right on the spot, ask them to wait there for like 10 minutes and then return the questionnaire to you. No. Most of the time we design the set of questionnaire, do some kind of testing before you really distribute the questionnaire by email perhaps. Okay. Here it should be a mixture of close-ended question and open-ended question. Close-ended question is for you to find out or to confirm something, to ascertain facts. As for the open-ended question is to describe the feeling, describe the opinions. For example, open-ended, something like you ask for their suggestion on the features that need to be included in the new ticketing system. You ask for their suggestion. For close-ended, then you can ask something like, which among the following feature you would like to be included in the ticketing system. You may choose more than one, so the user can just tick 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 tick. So that one is just to confirm something. There's a series of options, answer option from where they can select from. That's why we call it as close-ended. That's the only options for answers they have. For open questions, it's up to them. It's open-ended. They can give any kind of answers. Just now I mentioned about testing, right? Testing prior to the distribution. This is very important. You know why? Because to come up with a good set of questionnaire is quite difficult, because questionnaire is no longer face-to-face, right? So if the question, like the respondent, they don't understand a few of the questions, then they cannot ask the essay. So in this case, you really need to, like, testing the questionnaire means you get a few people, okay, say around 10 people. So if your respondents, you have around 200 people, 200 employee who will be using one particular system that you're going to develop, then you can select around 10 to 20 people to first test out your questionnaire. See whether the answers that they provide to you is just what you expect. If they answer those like unimaginable answers, or then what seems to be the problem? The problem will be your question. The question itself. You need to rephrase your question in order for you to get the answers that you want. Okay, so there are some do's and don'ts guidelines on how to come up with a list of questionnaire questions. Like, for example, question should not be misleading. You should first start with the general question and then go to specific. You should concentrate on more close-ended question and give at least one open-ended question to ask for comments, to ask for feedback. Some students, they know, oh, questionnaire is just to a certain facts. Oh, okay, then 10 question, 10 close-ended question. That is not a good questionnaire, because you need to have a mix. Just what is highlighted here, you should have a mix of close-ended question and open-ended question. Look at the last bullet here. It says that represent, okay, the first stage of data collection. Data collection would be the data gathering, yeah, the fact gathering, where it can be supported later by the interviews if necessary. This is especially when if the SA mentioned that if you want to meet up with us personally, you can give us your name and phone number, or perhaps email address for us to contact you back. So this is a follow-up, right? And then the next one would be, how do you know you should not conduct interview, but instead you just distribute questionnaire? One of the thing is you look at the number of users. If, like in the company, you have 200 users using the system, a particular system, and you want to gather facts from them, you won't be able to interview all 200 people, correct? Unless the best that you can do would be you do sampling. Means sampling from the 200 population. So out of from 200, perhaps you select 20 interviewees to be interviewed. But you need to make sure that these 20 interviewees represent the overall population of 200. You still cannot afford to interview all 200. So in this case, if say you still want to get opinion from each of the end users, then why not use questionnaires? Okay, use questionnaire. This is when we use questionnaire for fact gathering. Besides that, when your end users, they are geographically distributed. Say you have not only in Sabah branch, there's a HQ in KL, just an example. Or if it's a global company, then your end users would be in various countries. So difficult for you to do interviews, okay, especially when the time zone is different. Like here it's morning, but then over there it's nighttime. You cannot like interview people when they are about to go to sleep, correct? So in this case, questionnaire is a more suitable fact gathering technique. And one more thing is that always remember questionnaires are supposed to be anonymous. Sometimes previously lecturers will get these questionnaires from students. Okay, it's one of their assignment to conduct questionnaires, to distribute questionnaires. So they just wait at the corridors. Miss, please fill up our questionnaire. And then the first thing that I saw was name, age, gender, and then I thought questionnaire is supposed to be anonymous. This is not a good questionnaire. I told them, and then they were like, oh, we didn't know, Miss. Then you need to find out. Questionnaire is supposed to be anonymous unless the respondent, they want to make themselves known, then they will put their name and contact details at the section where they acknowledge that they want to have a follow-up interview with the system analyst. Okay, always remember anonymity. For interview, it's a face-to-face meeting. Questionnaire, respondents can remain anonymous. Okay, and one more thing here, questionnaire is for when we want to get factual information. During interview, when you ask the interviewee needs to like, oh, let me recall, if I'm not mistaken, it's the. They cannot do the checking on the spot because they don't have all the documents that they have. So if you distribute questionnaire, okay, you give them some time to fill up the questionnaire. They can also assemble all this say data that you required. For example, if the system request is about to correct the errors in the billing statement, and then one of the question is about out of 200 billing statements, how many billing statements contains errors, contains mistake? Then in this case, it's better to use questionnaire because you want the respondents to investigate, need to check, okay, how many billing statements contains mistake. Then they can give you factual information. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 circumstances or scenario where you should use questionnaire. Okay, look at this example of questionnaire. For your case study, you will have different objective because I will look at your system request. It's the user requesting for enhancement of the existing system, means they already have the information system, they already have the ticketing system, but they want to replace a new one. Or they are selling the ticket traditionally, okay, where they have those small like coupon thing, okay, they just write the date number, okay, and then check up the piece of ticket, give it to the passenger, bus passenger, meaning they don't have any system, it's a traditional. So they request for a new ticketing system. So in this case, the objective of your fact gathering would be different. Okay, if the system request is about, okay, we have our ticketing system, but there are mistakes in it, especially when the tallying up of the daily sales, then the questions that you need to ask will be different. Therefore, you need to look at the objective. That's my tips for your week 5 case study. You need to know your objective. Make sure your objective is based on your system request. In case you forget, a system request is here. We will not start with the SDLC unless we get a formal request from the end user. We call it as a system request. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. It will be much more clearer if you see on your own screen the example of questionnaire. Look at this questionnaire. You have introduction. You need to explain to the user, who are you? What are you trying to do? You must give instruction. And remember that this is not a face-to-face interview. So SA will not be there to clarify a confusing question. So here you still need to give them opportunity to maybe perhaps ask, okay, if you have any question, please call who at what number. This one is especially when the IT department is this is within the organization, okay, internally. So I assume that this Dana is SA in the IT department, and then they are sending this questionnaire to their purchasing department. Let me see. Complete the questionnaire, return it by what date? Yeah, it's correct. Dana in IT, Information Technology Department. And then you must clearly separate the sections, okay? The first part would be the close-ended questions. This is what we call close-ended question, where you want to ascertain some facts, like for example, how many purchase requisition did you process in the past 5 working days? Okay, here they will say give a number. Now, why certain thing you need to ask the user is that you want to know whether can we trust the feedback that we get from this particular respondent, because a respondent that seldom involved in that particular, processing or purchase requisition might not be getting or facing the mistake frequently. Okay, so that's why you need to find out certain things first. Here, percentage, and then tick, tick, tick. And notice that you must give the user instruction. Checking one box. Checking means tick. Okay, tick one box. All about errors. Do you notice they are all about errors? Too many errors. Out of 100 requisition, how many errors? What errors you normally see? And look at the objective. Here you say they want to investigate. What do they want to know? This is the objective, yeah. The purchase requisition process. They want to investigate about the purchase requisition process. So for you guys, you need to decide what is your objective. What do you want to investigate? What do you want to find out? So here in this example, they want to investigate the purchase requisition process to see if it can be improved. That's why all the question, starting from the general until specific, it's more or less about the process itself, because they want to improve the process. So I hope when you come up with your questionnaire, you will always look back at your objective. If you don't have objective, then it will be quite difficult. Now, section B, your suggestion. This part is the open-ended question. Here, if the currently used purchase requisition forms were to be redesigned, so here they ask for suggestion, what to change, what would you recommend? And then normally, a good questionnaire, it will not be like one. I remember this one particular group, they gave me around like 6 pages of questionnaire, and then I told them, redo. I reject your questionnaire. Why, miss? It's and then I told them questionnaire should be easy to fill up. It should be more or less like 1 page. Okay, if it's up until 6 pages, then the problem would be this one. Your respondent will not even return your forms because it's too difficult for them. It's like taking exam, 6 pages. Okay, so make sure when you design the questionnaire, it's simple and sweet. Okay, and do you see the last part here? Only if the respondent they want to meet up with the IT people, yeah, then they will fill up the contact detail. Otherwise, again, remember, it should be anonymous. It should be anonymous. Now, so this is, I want you to refer to this slide when you come up with your questionnaire. You must have objective, like what I mentioned here. Their objective is they want to investigate this to see whether this process can be improved. So what's your objective for the bus ticketing system? Okay, and the example here is for inventory system. The issue mentioned in the system request is lack of useful reports. Say the one of the reason of system request is quality information and end user request. The reason is that they cannot make decision end user request, and quality information means they cannot get information that they want from the system. Okay, let me. I think I will need to show you something. This is very important. Otherwise, this one should be in system planning. Otherwise, then you will give me different things from the this one. Okay, let me open chapter 2. If you have your chapter 2, open your chapter 2. Okay, one moment, yeah. Let me find where's the slide. This is from chapter 2. It depends on the request, yeah, whether the user want enhancement or replace the existing system. Okay. In this case, I would say the users need. What do they need? They need more reports. Okay, and then also existing system. What's wrong with the system? Lack of useful report. And then when we proceed to the types of improvement required, this is for what? They want to get quality information. Okay, and then I would say once they have quality information, then they can provide better service to the customer. So it means it always comes from your reason of system request, and then it will lead to the types of improvement required. So if you already know that the existing system has lack of useful report and the user themselves request for more reports, okay, this would be the sources, and the types of improvement would be they expect when the new system has been added with more useful report, then the end user can, the managers can improve their service to the customers, okay, as well as they will be able to get quality information from the system, okay.
Oh, Miss, why we don't have the slide, the part of the slide? Or is that
one? Oh, that one is from chapter 2, last week punya.
Oh, chapter 2, no one.
I just want to go back to the chapter 2 so that you can link. This one is you will not be able to come up with your the interview questions or the questionnaire if you do not know the objective. And all these objectives comes from what? From the system request, which we already covered.
The assignment only need one page for the questionnaires.
I can accept 2 pages. but then I will look at how you design the questionnaire. Remember, when you design the questionnaire, it should be like a proper layout where it's nice to see, easy to fill up. Okay, and I believe the assignment mentioned about, let me see, make sure if you want to give me 1 page of questionnaire, you can fit in 6 open-ended question and 2 close-ended question. In this case, tabalik already. Normally questionnaire we have more close-ended. I think this time they wanted 6 open-ended questionnaire. So kalau 6 open-ended questionnaire, if you look at our slide, chapter 3 slide. Let me find my chapter 3 first. Not this one. Oops. I see it already. Chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay. You can see my slide, right? And if you see here, this is 1 open-ended question. So kalau 6, more than 1 page. I hope that answer your question. Tunggu.
Okay.
Even close-handed, you need to have at least this much, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 questions here. But then your question 6 plus 2, so 8. 2 pages. 2 pages. Around 2 pages. Okay. Now, so back to this example of questionnaire. So altogether, you have 2 examples. This one is to investigate the purchase requisition, means the purchasing system for the purchasing department, and this is for the inventory system. So the problem is lack of useful reports. So what kind of question you should add in? These are the examples. And notice that it's all about reports. Okay, reporting function reports. So hopefully by getting answers, all these answers from the end user, SA will be able to come up with a very good report design. Okay, so this is the reason why we conduct fact gathering. Okay, and let me see. We go for a short break, toilet break, right after I finish the advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire. Okay, the first advantage, recipient can answer at convenience. Again, this is not the face-to-face meeting like interview. You distribute the questionnaire, and then you can see in our first slide on the questionnaire, they can answer at their own leisure time. Okay, at their own leisure time. Okay, so it's not necessary to block time, just like when you ask for appointment, you want to make an interview appointment, because all these are contained in an interview plan. Interview plan is not added, right? But then it's in the tutorial. I guess I need to share with you some of the references. Okay. Next, we already know this. Another clear advantage, the respondent can respond anonymously. Okay, normally when they respond anonymously, they are more likely to give more accurate responses, but you need to also know, they will not know me, so I can just simply So this is where another fact gathering must come in, which is I would say SA need to conduct observation or perhaps document inspection, just to double confirm what the respondent mentioned in the questionnaire is correct or not, or what the interviewee mentioned during the interview is correct or not. That's why during fact finding or fact gathering, SA cannot rely on just one technique. There must be at least 2 techniques to confirm. Okay, and respondent is given. Time to assemble the required information. This one is referring to this particular circumstances where normally when we want to get factual info from our respondent, then we should give them questionnaire. Why? Because they have time, okay, to go and investigate, assemble whatever data that they have and answer. Like if you look at here, how many purchase requisition did you process in the past 5 working days? You cannot ask them during the interview because they can just somehow say, if I'm not mistaken, around 50, 100 also, I cannot be sure. But then if this is a questionnaire, they can always check. I guess, meaning the close-ended is to get facts. In this case, I think you need to jot this down. Interview, we use it to get qualitative information. Questionnaire, we use it to get quantitative information. Are you able to get that? Interview, qualitative info. Questionnaire, get quantitative information. You get that? Okay, good. And then one more here. The advantage of questionnaire is definitely you get information from large group of end user. Not only from large group of user, or perhaps when they are geographically dispersed. Now, how about the disadvantages? This is what I mentioned just now. It's difficult to design. Difficult to design so that there is no misinterpretation. There's no bias. Okay, like otherwise, then you don't want to end up getting incorrect data from your questionnaire just because they interpret your question wrongly. So how you phrase the question is also very important. Okay, and then this one is very straightforward. You cannot clarify the question because this is no longer face-to-face. But to solve this problem, you can do this. If you have any question, please call. But then normally it's a hassle for them to call, right? So either they leave it blank or they just put whatever answer that they think that is correct. So that's one of the disadvantages of questionnaire. And finally, not all the forms will be written. If you distribute 200, I'm not sure whether you will get back 200. Okay, many people, they don't really like to fill up the forms. And then there's a particular type of respondent where, oh, nantilah, later, until eventually they forgot all about it. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages. Okay, so let's go for a 5 minutes break and I'll continue with the lecture. Okay, I'll stop the recording here. See you guys in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, I'll start the recording now. Okay, before the break, we have covered the first two techniques of fact gathering, interview and questionnaire. Now we continue with another one, which is the observation. Observation is exactly what the name say, which is the SA will observe. Okay, watch the end users. How they use the information system. When they use the information system, do they interact with other end user? Do they need to interact with other department? Go through the procedures and so on. Okay, and you can see in the second bullet here, there's several things that SA need to observe, like how the data flows from where to where.
Miss, cannot see the presentation.
Oh, I haven't started the presentation. Oh, yeah. One moment, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sharing already. Thank you. Okay, so here, this is what we need to observe. We want to take a look at the flow of data into the system and how it will be processed into the output, into the information. When we cover the fact recording technique next week, one of the diagram that you need to come up with is the DFD, data flow diagram. So the data flow diagram, you need to observe the data input, output information, and each of the processes that you observe will become the process symbol in your DFD diagram. Now, in order for you to understand the processes, you can get the info from the interview, you can even get it from the questionnaire. But then if you want to confirm, okay, you can also do observation. And how do we conduct observation? If you want to conduct interview, you must make a plan. So it's a plan meeting. That's why you have the interview plan. Here, when you want to observe, you must inform that, okay, I'm coming over to your department. I will observe the purchasing department to see how the purchase requisition process is being performed. Okay, you must inform them of this, your objective of your visit, or purpose of your visit. There are two types of observation. One is SA just observed. Another one is participate. He also participate in the observation, meaning he joined the end users in the process. So temporarily join the activity of the group. So either he just observe or he participate. Okay, advantages, like I mentioned just now, yeah, additional perspective and also cross-check and verify. Okay, when you see the system being used, so you will get the additional perspective of that particular system from your own eyes. Okay, to supplement what you have heard during interview, what you have read in the, here, we haven't covered this one, I believe in the next slide. We call this as the document inspection or document analysis. Okay, you can cross-check and verify by being there together with the end user, see how they do the processes. Okay, this is very important. Another advantage, as you can see here, acquire know-how. Okay, like if you see the end user, how they do the, say, online selling of their products, then you can see the know-how that you need when you want to implement the system. Like the system implementation is the after system analysis, you have system design, then we have system implementation, system development and system implementation. So if you want to acquire know-how, then it's best that you perform observation. And if you do this participatory observation, you will get better acceptance. Just like the interview, when you interview the user, you can what was it already? You can build rapport with the end user, and then you can overcome resistance. Means you involve your end user, they feel more how to say, more belonging in the system. Okay, because they are a part of the team, the development team. They contribute to the development of the system. So when the end user sees the effort that SA puts in developing the system, okay, to really understand the system, then somehow better acceptance we can obtain from the end user. Next one is the environmental condition. You might be wondering, why do this SA need to observe the environmental conditions like dirt, space, noise? Because this environmental condition may affect the implementation. When you say in your budget, you want to purchase 2 new PC, okay, for the user, and then you need to see whether there's a proper room for you to install the 2 sets of PC and perhaps the server somewhere. For a server, you need to make sure it is in a closed room where you can install air conditioning unit. Okay, and then as for servers, we don't want to have dirt entering the room. And then sometimes this is what I observed previously when I brought the student for visit to the Jabatan Perkhidmatan Komputer Negeri Sabah in their old office. Yeah, they brought us to their server room. There's a signage there. Please remove your shoe. Please take off your shoe before entering the server room. Means they don't even want a speck of dirt entering the server room. And the server room is like very cold. Nighttime aircon, morning time aircon. That's what you need to observe also. If say the inventory control system is being used in the factory, then you need to go over there, view, observe the department who will be using the inventory control system. If it's like in open air and then it's exposed to this noise, vibration, dirt, oil, all those dirty stuff, right? Then you need to propose that a room should be ready before you can install the PC and install the information system. So environmental condition is also important, yeah. How about the disadvantages? Again, to go to the end user side, it will take time. And then if you want to take part in the observation, okay, for the participatory observation, you need a prior understanding of the procedure. Okay, so meaning you go there, you don't go there unprepared. You go there, you must prepare by reading up some kind of SOP, standard operating procedure, in order for you to really understand, oh, what's going on. So it's more or less like you are preparing yourself to know more, and then you need to go there just to confirm. Okay, you go there just to confirm. And need power of concentration, because when you do observation, just 100% observation, some people, it's difficult for them to just sit there and observe. So you really need to have power of concentration. And this last two, I would say the most obvious disadvantage, subconscious observation. If the SA have developed this inventory control system before for another say another department, or in his previous project or in his previous company. Then when he performed the observation, he might have gotten to make a subconscious observation. Means it's not what he observed, but in fact it's from his past experience. Okay, and one more, which is the Horton Effect. Horton Effect is based on a study by a professor called Horton. In his study, right, he find that when this group of workers or employees, they are being observed, there are two types. One, they get very nervous during the observation, that they tend to make more mistakes. Means that not their usual how to say, that's not how they act usually. They make more mistakes. But then when you were there, you observe, like, how come this worker, the staff always make mistake, data entry clerk, for example, always make mistake while entering the data into the system. And some type of worker, they become more productive because they know they're being observed. So this is what we call as the Hotend Effect. So when the SA perform observation, he need to consider this. If there are a lot of mistakes, or somehow the workers, they are like seem nervous, it might be the Hotend Effect. So I need to consider this when making conclusion about the observation. Okay, Hotend Effect. Now, another technique. So far we have covered 3 techniques: interview, questionnaire, and just now is the observation. This is document inspection. Document inspection or analysis of existing documents. And this is very important, where system analysts need to go through all these documents. But before that, he will need to collect first. Collect, perhaps make copies, or if it's a past record, then he can take it with him. But then if it's a most current record, he needs to make copies. It can be any type of documents. It can be reports, it can be organization charts, it can be the SOP, standard operating procedures, it can be the user manuals for the system. And then from the documents that he collect, then need to make analysis of the document. Now, what's the advantages of going through all these documents? Okay, document analysis or document inspection. SA will be able to get very detailed description of the procedures, where if you interview the interviewee, they can just tell you what they can remember. Or normal for the to enter the purchase requisition, first of all, I do this, followed by this, and then after that, I do this. But then perhaps when you go through the procedures listed in the company SOP, it seems that the interviewee is not following the actual procedures. So this is where, as I will get additional perspective to the answers that might be not clearly described through the interviewing or questionnaire. Okay, and look at the second one, better understanding of procedures. Yes, because you go through the SOP, you go through the reports, the user manual, you get better understanding of the procedures, you understand the processes, and from there you have clear overall view on top of the what you have from interview and questionnaire. And then one more is you will be able to find out what's the current practice, especially when SA go through the various forms that they have, like in a purchase requisition process, he can go through the purchase requisition form. Look at what are the fields required. Is there anywhere in the forms that will cause mistake, say entering of the data or something else? Okay, so close study of the form gives the best guide for the current practice. However, if you look at the next slide, okay, I go back to here. Analyst need to collect the documents, right? But he need to beware of this. Which document that he collect. Perhaps he's looking at the outdated documents. So we want to avoid this. Documents not up to date. Or the documents procedures has been modified. Means you are analyzing that particular document, but then in fact the procedures itself has already been modified. So you are looking at the wrong thing. Or like my earlier example, the current practice not following the documents. The documents say, okay, need to go through these 7 steps, but the interviewee, when you ask them during the interview, they only perform 5, means they skip 2 steps. The current practice, they are not using the original documents. Okay, and because of that, more time need to be spent by SA. For what? For carefully selecting the documents that he wants to analyze or inspect. Okay, so this is document inspection. Now, another technique to do fact finding or fact gathering is JAD. Now, JAD is a little bit different. It's some kind of a workshop, okay? A workshop for users in exploring the system requirements, where from the name, Joint Application Development, JAD, this is something like a brainstorming, okay? This group of people, we call it as task force. They will go somewhere nice, perhaps a nice convention room and at a hotel or at a resort. They spend a few days or perhaps up to 1 week just to learn about the current system, what's the issue with the current system, the problems, and at the end of the day, they're supposed to agree with the list of requirements. Remember, what we need to achieve through the fact gathering is we want to find out the list of requirements of the system, functional, non-functional requirements, because we need this requirement to do the system design. Okay, so a task force that combines both users and the system development team. Okay, so the end user side, it can consist of the manager, it can consist of the operational staff, or as well as the data entry clerk, more or less the primary user, not forgetting the top level, because this top level people will be the one who give the what's the word, authority to proceed. Okay, perhaps in terms of budget, perhaps in terms of a special authorization. So we need people from this various levels: top management, middle management, and also the operational level. Okay, and who will lead this JAD? The project leader. So this project leader need to make sure, say a few days of JAD session, must be able to come up with a list of requirements. And another participant would be what we call as the recorder. The recorder must be from the software development team, whereby the job of a recorder is to record the meeting. That's why we need to have the documentation here. The proceedings of the workshops are recorded. We need a recorder, we need the project leader, we need to have the SA, programmer, and then from the user side, the top management, middle management, and also the operational level. So it's some kind of a workshop lah. Okay, some kind of a workshop. Now, another technique is by doing background research. For your case study, I believe you this is what you can do lah. Unless it's a actual bus company, then you can perform observation, or not observation. You can perform interview and questionnaire. For your case study, I believe you can still perform observation, but during this MCO, I don't think you can go to any of the bus company to observe, perhaps from outside, see how they sell ticket. But if you want to do internet research, then this is it. Okay, visit to similar sites. MCO, I wonder. No, cannot do that. Previously, for the diploma student, I ever told them this because their title was the restaurant system. So I told them, during this semester break, if you have opportunity with your parents bringing you all out for makan, I told them, suggest them a place where they use this information system. Perhaps it's like maybe they use a kiosk, or they bring around the tablet or iPad to take the order. So you go there and observe. You go there not for makan, but you go there to observe. So I get the student to observe whenever they can. If they're working on point of sale system, then I would advise them, if you can observe various point of sale, don't make it like too obvious, but treat it like your customer there, and then observe everything. Barcode reader, okay, the whole hardware for the point of sale system and so on. So you can visit to similar sites. You can review online information. But then for actual SA, this is what he can do. He can attend professional meetings and seminar. Okay. Nowadays, people do this online workshop and seminar, right? If you find that there's any seminar that is relevant to online information system, automation, digital automation, you should attend the online workshop. Now I'm wondering whether any one of you attended the Senheng Digital Journey sharing session.
No.
No.
No, tak ada. They talk about CRM, Customer Relationship Management System, HRM, Human Resource Management System. They talk about marketing system. They talk the telemarketing system, and a little bit on the data science, data analytics. So just to give you an example on what you can do to get some kind of a background info. Okay, and since they have a context with others, he can also join informal or informal discussion with other SL. Now, another unique fact-finding, fact-gathering technique. This is what we call as prototyping. So when should you use prototyping? You might be wondering, like JAD. Can we do JAD just for the sake of fact gathering? This one, if you have fully budgeted for this system analysis in the system development, then you go for it. Because JAD, I would say the most expensive, because it's a few days of workshop, many people at one time. You need to consider accommodation, the room, the food, everything. So it's quite expensive. So JD is something unique. Prototyping approach is also unique. You will use prototyping if, let me see here, yeah. Is it mentioned here? It's not mentioned. When you, during the interview, you ask the user, you cannot seem to get their requirements. You distribute questionnaire, it seems that the respondent cannot give you the answer what that you want. You can't seem to understand the current system. So you try to do document inspection, but somehow the documents are not up to date, and what they told you during interview or in the questionnaire, it doesn't tally with the documents that you analyze. And when you observe, somehow you can't really understand what they want. The reason is that they don't have IT background, especially when it's from a traditional information system. They request for a fully automated computerized system. Means they don't have any background on IS. So when you ask them, what do you want in a new system? Can you tell me what's the requirement for this system? Then it kind of back and forth. The user cannot tell you what they want, but at the end of the day, they know that I want an information system. So in this case, what you can do is you create a prototype model. It's not a complete information system, but at least the user can log in into the prototype model. They can enter some data, right? And then they can do some kind of transaction, and they can also print some reports and log out from the system. So this is a prototype model. Once you get them to try out this prototype model, then you can get their feedback. Whether is this what you want? So when you cannot get the requirements from the user, right? Because of their background, they don't know what they want. They cannot explain to you clearly what they want. You go for prototyping approach. You can see the purpose here for users to test and provide feedbacks whether it meets their requirements. So this is the fastest. Because when you prepare a prototype, you get the user to test it out, and then they will tell you, oh, this is not what I want. In fact, I want it to be like this. So as I will do the changes, after done the changes, give it to user to test, and user will give their feedback, and this will keep on going. Okay, it will continue, and then these changes to the prototype for this system normally is quite fast, because SA can use those tools, okay, the 4th generation language tools, where just do a drag and drop, right? You can click one button, it can produce you a report and so on. So we call this as a 4th generation language or CASE tools. CASE stands for, what was it ready? Computer Aided Software Engineering Tools. Okay, so this is quite fast. We call it as more productive lah. Okay, so you can see in this diagram, once you have the prototype, okay, user test it, not okay, continue, not okay, redo, not okay, redo. So this part is the system analysis. Remember, what is another name for system analysis? Requirements analysis. You want to get the correct requirements so that you can come up with a list of the requirements, right? That is prototyping. Exercise for students. Okay, let's read up the exercise here. The company name is KL Capital Management. They employ 20 consultants. So currently it's traditional, no usage of information system. So now they want to have a system called expert system for the consultant to use. So 20 consultants develop an expert system for them. Here, identify 2 fact gathering methods, justify. So let me show you the answer. Now, it can be any 2, including research and prototyping. I would say prototyping because if you refer here, this is, they never use any system at all. Means they don't have any background in this expert system. So you can add in prototyping. Okay, prototyping. Our research is because if you're new to asset management, you need to find out more about it. You must have the research, the background research. Justification. Yes.
The questionnaire is just survey, right? That also.
Questionnaire is also known as survey. Different books they use different term lah. But then for our syllabus, we use the word questionnaire. Okay. So have you all got the answer for the justification?
Miss.
Yeah.
Do we screenshot?
You can screenshot. Oh, you can copy down.
Well, but you're already in the PowerPoint. It's just
So you have the answer ready? The justification? Or I think the research prototyping not in. Prototyping is not in. Okay, can I go to the next slide?
Okay.
Okay. Just to tell you all, your assessment question will be something like this. In order for you to identify the most appropriate fact gathering methods, remember the the advantages, disadvantages. 20 consultant, I can give, I can conduct interview, no problem. But then in this case, they don't know anything about use of information system. Prototyping is good. Okay, and then as for questionnaire, if you want to get factual information, you can suggest questionnaire as well, right? So let's move on to the last part of our lecture, which is the functional requirements. Now, there are two types of requirements. One is functional requirements, another one is non-functional requirements. So we'll start with the functional requirements first. When we do the functional requirements, let me see. We are referring to the functionality of the system that you should be providing to your end user. Means it should be in the system. So it should be in the system. It's the IPOS. I hope you all still remember the IPOS: input, process, output, stored data. You must describe the functionality of the system from the input point of view, from the output point of view, process point of view, and also the stored data. Okay, so let's look at some example. This is the example for sales order system. Okay, storage is the stored data. User interface would be the input, yeah. Processing would be the process. Control requirements. Let me see, is this output? Yeah, output. Okay, so let's start with the stored data or storage requirements. For a sales order system, need to be able to check availability of the stock fast. So in the system, you should ready the stock database, database that contains files on the stock. So they can check the quantity available, stock on hand. As for the input, okay, referring to the interface, user interface, sales order system, it will be much more productive for the end user to have automatic capture of the sales order data, perhaps using RFID. Okay, for a point of sale system, perhaps you can add the what's the name already? The barcode reader. Okay, the barcode reader. And then for the, remember last week we had the tutorial, yeah, tutorial on the CCS, the Computer Society. they want to have this system, online marking system, OMS, and one of the input requirements would be the what? Scanner, correct? To scan the answer booklet into soft copy. So this is what you need to include in the functional requirement. And then for processing sales order system, fast automatic calculation of sales total as well as the shipping cost. If in the scenario, the sales order system, they also deliver to outside. Okay, that's why it requires shipping costs. So here you need to look at the given scenario lah. Okay, processing. For inventory, what should you expect for the processing? Maybe to find out the stock inventory level, fast calculation. Automatic lah, make it automatic, because the reduction or addition of the stock should be done automatically. That is for inventory control system. But then for your ticketing system, then you need to think about it. For the output, I would say sales order system requires signals. Signals can be output. Signals for what? Whenever there's an error. Okay, want to provide pricing. Okay, means the user can go into the sales order system, select one product, and straight away can see the product information, product name, and also the product price. And then also information about those customers who have a credit limit, they are already over the credit limit. So these are example of output that is expected for a sales order system, because you cannot proceed with sales order for customer who has yet to pay you back, right? Who has still debt to pay. And then for successful sales order, then you should provide some kind of confirmation, maybe some kind of an email, okay, that they receive. Normally, this one would be this email is auto-generated, something like that. So output, process, input, and this one is stored data. Describe the functionality of the system in detail. Okay. Finally, non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements, nothing to do with IPOS, but it is still important. Where you want to add in other features into the system. So these features, they are not directly related to the function of the system. Okay, for example, the first non-functional requirement would be you want the existing system to be able to interface with other system. Means it should be, what's the word? Somehow I cannot get the word. Compatible, yeah, compatible. Okay, compatible. Okay, in this example, you have payroll system, okay, interface with account system, because somehow the I would say the output from the account system will become the input for the payroll system, or the other way around. Okay, where one system need to receive data from one system and to supply it to another. So if you need to add in this non-functional requirement, make sure you ask the user, the output from this system, say the inventory on hand, the stock balance, will it be used by other departments? If yes, then at least in the system you add in one menu there. Say perhaps export to Excel file or export to CSV file, so it can be used by other people from other departments. Okay, this is what I mentioned here with generalized software. Means it can be output to in a spreadsheet format for the purpose of other department use, or perhaps for data mining. Okay, data mining. Another example would be audit. Audit requirement for a particular system. Normally, you need to get permission. If you want to perform audit, you need to inform your user that you are adding in the auditing if they wanna. But then you need to mention which part of the system that you're doing the audit trail. Okay, audit trail is it is some kind of a log file that records important or significant information about a transaction, perhaps the updating of a salary scale. If you wish to, if the HR department, they wish to audit trail for this particular transaction, then you will add it for them, because they want to find out, okay, this particular HR employee logging into the HR system, into the payroll system, they change the salary scale. So you want to capture who, when, and what, which user login, okay, date and time, and what's the changes from what salary scale to another different salary scale. It can also be done for a student system where want to find out who changed what marks to the latest mark, especially when there's changes in the student exam marks, right? So we need to find out the actual changes. So it will be in a log file. Okay. The third point here, as I mentioned, agreement must be agreed. Okay, must be agreed. Otherwise, it is something like how to say? What's the word already? Privacy, not privacy, ethics. Something like that. That's why the audit trail, you need to inform the user, confirm with the user, if you want me to log this particular transaction, then they need to agree with what you have in mind. So both sides must agree. Another example would be legal issues. The importance would be like I did mention this previously, like previously the accounting system must be GST compliant. So when the user say I want a new accounting system and it should be GST compliant. GST compliant is not the functional requirements, it's under non-functional requirements, because legally the company needs to use a GST compliant accounting software. Another scenario would be perhaps there's a Data Protection Act. In UK, they have this Data Protection Act. Let me check my notes. During the Senheng workshop, they mentioned something about this. One moment. In Malaysia, we have this act. They call it as PDPA. Okay, if you want to jot this down, Personal Data Protection Act, year 2010. Means when we develop system, we need to consider all this legal issue lah. Okay, PDPA, Personal Data Protection Act in Malaysia 2010. And then we have another example here, archiving, backup, and recovery. For students who do the final year project, this is one of the non-functional requirements that I always suggest for them. What happens if you develop a system and then there's a power failure and everything crash? When look at the database, the data gone, or half of it was corrupted, and then you cannot get back the recent transaction for your user. So that is a worst case scenario. This is where backup and recovery should be added in as one of the non-functional requirements. If you have backup, you must also have recovery. Okay, you don't want the user to like go into the system. Okay, find where is the file, and then do this manually, save it back into the original database. Recovery should be, the recovery routine should be like there's a click recovery, and then let the user select which backup date. Do they want to restore backup date at this particular date or another date? So backup and recovery routine should come together. This is to protect yourself from the future failure, okay, from future failure. Archiving, how about archiving? Archiving is very good when you have lots of data, you have lots of transactions, but then you have limited storage in your for your system, the database. So when you have limitation and then say it's an online sales system, during this pandemic time, you get lots of orders coming in. One day, thousands of orders. So you can imagine 1 month. Imagine 1 year. We are in this COVID-19 pandemic for like almost 1 year. Yeah, almost 1 year. And the amount is quite big. And if it's ongoing for like 5 years, you don't have anywhere to store your data already, unless you upgrade your storage. Or in one case, if you don't have the budget to upgrade your storage, one way is this solution is archiving. You archive your data. Perhaps the last 5 years data, archive it, and then in the system you only have the most recent data. Okay, as long as the system can still function without the archive data. Archive is normally the data will be compressed and then stored somewhere else. And for like legal purpose, like lembaga hasil dalam negeri, the LHDN, especially when we need to keep all the the information about the income tax. There's a regulation that we need to keep the info for 7 years. So up to 7 years, we cannot delete the old records. We still need to keep the past 7 years record. So if you don't have enough space, make sure you have archive function in your system. So backup, recovery, archive, and also the audit. These are examples of non-functional requirements. Okay, next one is usability. Usability means how easy it is for end user to use the system. So you can look at the learnability, efficiency, memorability, errors, and satisfaction. It's somehow referring to the user interface. You can see the example later. It's about the user interface. If the user interface is user-friendly, right, it will be fast for the user to learn. And once they're familiar with the overall system, then it's very efficient for them to do their tasks. And since the user interface is standardized, okay, the look and feel is standardized from one screen to another screen, then it's easier for them to do this. They are more satisfied, less error. And say the user, they go for a long holiday, 1 month holiday, come back to work, they can still remember how to use the system. That one is memorability. Okay, and next is reliability. Reliability means we want to reduce the number of times the system fails. Okay, the system ability to perform, continue to perform without failure. On the other, in a much more simpler way, a reliable system will not break down frequently. I guess most users, they want this to be as one of their non-functional requirements. They want a system that is reliable. Okay. If you look down here, this is very important for those systems used in the hospital, okay, medical life support system, also in the defense ministry, okay, military attack and defense system. We don't want system to make mistake in this scenario. Okay. This is exercise for inventory system. Describe 2 functional requirements and 2 non-functional requirements for inventory system. Functional, remember the IPOS. So let's look at the solution. This one should be the input. Recording goods received from supplier. So meaning the user wants the inventory system. They can use the inventory system to enter the goods received details. Okay. And then for the process, they want this inventory control system to be able to keep track of the outstanding deliveries of supplier. Outstanding deliveries means if in the purchase order you mention 100 cartons, but when the supplier deliver, instead of 100 cartons in their DO delivery order is only 95 cartons. Then when you enter the data, there's no field to identify that it is a full delivery, full goods delivery or partial goods delivery. If the user say, I want to keep track outstanding delivery. So when you design the user interface, make sure there's say a checkbox, full delivery or partial delivery. If it's partial delivery, then the user can keep track of, oh, there's 5 more cartons not yet delivered. Okay, so input, process, and for output, the user will mention, I want this inventory control system to be able to produce the inventory balance report. This is one of the must-have report in the inventory control system. Make sure you will include it as the SM. How about the non-functional requirements? The first one is the usability. Okay, user-friendly. So what you can incorporate would be you can use a graphical user interface, but these days everything is graphically user interface. For efficiency, accuracy in data entry, perhaps you can ask for RFID. Okay, RFID. If you look at the usability, errors. If they use RFID, then it will be easier, less mistake, and they are satisfied that it is efficient. And then it's very easy to learn how to enter data using RFID or say barcode scanner. So these are under usability, the user friendliness. Provide audit trails for the auditors. Yes, one of it is audit requirements, right? Okay. And one more is reliability. Okay, for inventory control system, we don't want systems that are always break down. Example of functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Let's see. Oh, that's all. Oh, 1:30 p.m. I've done with the chapter 3. And then let me show you. It's good that you'll ask me question during the lecture. Service request from where?
From the practical.
Page?
In the assignment. I mean.
Yeah. Page what?
Where?
Oh, ini? This one?
Week 3. Oh, yeah.
This one, right?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, the type of improvement. Better service, improve performance, but then you need to mention what do they request for in specific. Do they request for replacement of the current ticketing system, or the request for correction of errors in the existing bus ticketing system, or the request for enhancement of the bus ticketing system. So have you all decided on this last week when I asked you?
Which one? This one?
I mean, for your case study, what's your assumption? Is your assumption the bus company is a small company? Currently, they're selling the tickets traditionally using the ticket, the phone. They just write down the date, okay, seat, and then they koyak the ticket, give it to passenger, and then they request for a bus ticketing system. Or your assumption is this bus company, they have been using a bus ticketing system, but then this time they want to ask for to replace the old ticketing system with a new system. So have you thought about this?
No. Currently they use the traditional system.
Is this also the assumption for your database assignment last week? Last semester?
Oh no, different.
No. Oh, in that case, then it will be easier. It will be easy because you assume that it's traditional. So over there, the service requested would be just like you mentioned, they are currently selling the bus ticket traditionally. Then you describe that they're using the what do you call that? The ticket, the paper tickets. Okay, so you explain that, and now they are requesting for development of a bus ticketing system. Means they want to computerize their bus ticketing. So that is what they request for. Okay, the service request, and there must be reason why they request for that. Perhaps better performance, improve service. Okay, use theories learned in lecture as guide. There must be a reason they request for the computerized bus ticketing system. Perhaps it's the top management directive, means the CEO of the bus company is the one who give direction. We must use a computerized bus ticketing system, or maybe it's the existing system. If your assumption is it is a traditional system, then very straightforward, it should be existing system lah. The reason why the request for computerized bus ticketing system is due to the existing system is currently traditional. They want to automate their ticketing processing, something like that. And also for better service for the customer. So whatever that is requested here, you link it to the types of improvement and the sources of request. Use theories learned here is the the reason, the one that I show you during my lecture just now. Apa sudah tu? Yeah, top management directive. Yeah, all those. Okay, any more question?
Maybe this to this week or next week.
Tunggu
To show this this week or next week.
Sekejap. I think I better show your Google Classroom. Okay, if you look at our in-class work, this one already give marks. So this Thursday, you're going to present, okay, this Thursday, you're going to present your in-class work last week. And then I will give briefing for the week 3 case study requirement. right? And then you will do the in-class work for week 3, and you present the week 3 next week. Is it clear, Kelvin?
Yeah.
Any more question?
Miss, can release the in-class work for week 3?
Week 3?
Yeah. Because
Noel, I want to find out whether I need to create or you all can attach, or I need to create for you.
means we can create ourselves like that.
If you, let me see, can you try, if you can go in and then you attach Google Doc?
Whether?
Try first. If you all can do on your own, then anytime you can do it. Boleh.
Whether?
Farah pun boleh try ya, Kelvin kak. See whether you go to in-class work and then you can attach new document or not.
Miss, have to click the 3 dot. Because
click what?
The 3 dot over there. Up there. Up.
Ini.
Top right. Top right.
Ini.
That one. Because our one only got copy link. That's all.
How about this one?
Yeah. Same.
Can you present your screen?
Better.
Let's see. If you can do on your side, then no need to wait for me. No? Every week you can, whenever you are ready.
Now this copy link.
Copy link. Itu saja kah? Copy link saja. Tu. Add your work. Can you add Google Doc and then name it as week 3 in class work? Google Doc, not link. Cancel Google Docs. And then name it as week 3 in class work. Turn in.
So I rename here.
Rename it to week 3 in class work. Means your side you can do also, meaning Google slide pun boleh buat sendiri ni.
So if I turn in.
Tapi if you turn in, you all cannot edit together, right?
Cannot.
Okay. Then I see already from the student point of view. Thank you for the good question. Okay. Okay. Let me do it now very fast. Edit. Okay, now I create the week 3. One moment. Thank you for asking. Okay. So what should I name this? Week 3 in class work. Okay.
Because if can do early before instead of.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for reminding. I remember the tutorial and Google Slide, but I forgot about this in-class work. Okay, save it.
Because Thursday only got 1 hour. Like.
Yeah, true. So already ready this one. I only remember the tutorial. Okay, I ready the tutorial 3 answer. So this is there are 3 questions. Question 1 A, B, C, D. So this time rotate lagi Noel, Kelvin, Farah, Noel, Kelvin, Farah. So for the tutorial 3 we only have 1 hour kan? So tutorial 3 And then if you want to do the Google slide, I believe I already add in the slide for week 3 lah. I totally forgot about it in class. Thank you so much. So all okay already, kan?
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's all for today. See you on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
Miss.
Miss.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.